What's going on, guys? JSGC here, and we are here for another Manchester City transfer update. Before we crack on with this video, and we've got quite an interesting development, not only on David Alaba, but also Lionel Messi, make sure, like always, if you are enjoying the content, then you subscribe, press that red button, press the bell, and put your push notifications on. Aiming for 14,000 subscribers at the time of recording this video. We are now less than 300 subscribers away, so any help towards that would be much appreciated. Don't forget also social media links, you can find them in the description below and sliding across at the bottom of the screen if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter and Instagram. Email also in the description below too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business enquiries. Leave a thumbs up if you enjoy this video. Aiming for 400 likes, so any help towards that again would be much appreciated, and most importantly, let me know your thoughts in the comments below, as I'm always interested in what you do have to say. And so without further ado, we're going to crack on with this transfer update, and with there being 2 and a bit days or so left of the domestic transfer window, we're still getting bits of news coming out. First, Sergio Aguero. Update on him. Interestingly, the Daily Mail have been reporting that Inter Milan want to sign Sergio Aguero next summer for free, and apparently they're preparing a contract, a proposal to put forward to him, which with a wage Inter Milan are willing to offer between 6.4 million and 7.3 million pounds per year. They're also willing to offer Sergio Aguero a 2-year contract with the option of a 3rd year as well. I presume that is going to be a pay decrease, considering Sergio Aguero is one of, if not the highest paid player at Manchester City. Sergio Aguero, of course, his contract does run until next summer. From January, he can speak to any club outside of England, so any foreign club, and they can offer him a contract and he can sign a pre-contract agreement. And so that's what's happening with Sergio Aguero. My opinion now, personally, I think Sergio Aguero, as long as he does get over his injuries, will be offered an extension at Manchester City. Whether that might be a year, maybe that might be 2 years, I'm not too sure. But I reckon Sergio Aguero will not leave Manchester City this summer. But that's just my instinct and my own thoughts. I could be wrong. Now, moving on to the next story. Patrick Roberts, he has officially joined Middlesbrough on loan for the rest of the season, so the best of luck to Patrick on his loan move to Middlesbrough. Of course, spent the second half of last season over at Middlesbrough, so he's heading out back to the Riverside again, so best of luck to Patrick on his move. And lastly, we've got an update on Joel Latimbodia. Now, BBC Sport have been reporting that Swansea City, they want to sign Joel Latimbodia, and interestingly, they're saying that it's going to be a permanent transfer with there being no fee, so it's going to be a free transfer. Now, I originally thought this was going to be a loan deal, so I know that Swansea were getting linked, I know Reading were getting linked, Norwich City have been getting linked. Swansea seemingly like they're out ahead according to the BBC, and they're saying it's going to be a permanent deal. So are Man City going to let Latibeaudiere leave for free? Who knows? We'll have to wait and see what happens to that. Like I said, domestic transfer window closes October 16th, so we're talking, what, 2 days or so for transfers to get sorted. So if you want to stay up to date with everything happening, I'll be retweeting sources ASAP, so make sure you follow me on my Twitter, and of course I'll have another transfer update out in a few days for everyone to look forward to, with a roundup of what's happened for the rest of the domestic transfer window. Now moving on to the ins, we've got an update on Facundo Pellistri. This one sailed well over my head. Not too sure how I missed this, but I did. I didn't report on it on transfer deadline day, and so I'll report on it now. Now, Facundo Pellistri, he has joined Manchester United rather than Manchester City. He signed from Penarol in Uruguay. Pellistri is a young Uruguayan teenager who City have been getting linked with. Apparently, City had made a £6 million bid and offer for him. He's ended up joining Manchester United, though, for €10 million. So we're looking at around over £9 million that United have paid. So they're obviously willing to pay more than what Manchester City were. And like I said, slipped under my radar this one, so I do want to apologise for that. That's a young player that will not be joining Manchester City. And now we've got an update on Nicolas Tagliafico. Speaking about what I was speaking about in my last video, that Manchester City may well be making a move for Tagliafico in January. Now, the Sun have been reporting and backing up what I was saying in that video, that Manchester City are indeed looking to try and swoop in for Tagliafico in the January winter window. Ajax are believed to be looking for around £20 million for the left back. Manchester City you wouldn't think that would be a problem, if I'm completely honest. The only problem City have with signing a left-back is they do need to sort out the future of Alexander Zinchenko. Zinchenko must leave Manchester City before a left-back can be signed. That's not going to come in a domestic window. I would have thought if he is going to leave, that would come in the winter window. Whether that would be a permanent transfer or a loan remains to be seen. I reckon City will be looking to try and get at least a little bit of business done in the winter window, and I reckon a left-back would be the most probable option that Manchester City would go for, and so therefore Tagliafico, you would think, unless he goes somewhere else, and other clubs being interested, would be probably the most logical and probably the easiest transfer for City to get done. And speaking of left-backs, leads us on to an update with David Alaba. Now, the Bayern Munich defender, he's still refusing to sign that contract at Bayern Munich, and he is free to speak to any club outside of Germany once January hits, and he's been linked with a move to Juventus next summer. Now, apparently talks are advanced for David Alaba to join Juventus. This is according to Sport, who aren't the most reliable of news outlets, I'll be completely honest, but I can believe this to be true. Alaba wants to play centre-back. He sees himself as a centre-back, no longer as a left-back. Manchester City, if they were to bring in David Alaba, would want to use him as a left-back, because City have already got Laporte and Nathan Ake that can cover the left side of centre-back. And so signing David Alaba, unless he was willing to play left-back, probably wouldn't be a move that would make sense. And also financially, I mean, David Alaba is believed to be wanting around £350,000 per week, which is right at the top of the Manchester City pay scale. It's more money than what Kevin De Bruyne has been offered, apparently, as part of a new contract. And so, do you know what I mean? It upset the apple cart a little bit, so I don't really see City going down this route, and so getting a little bit, it seems, more of a conclusion on David Alaba. And like I said, City looking at left-backs, Alaba may not be one of them, considering Juventus are interested, and I presume willing to play him at centre-back. But we'll have to wait and see. And now, onto the juice of this video. Lionel Messi, we've got an update on him again after we've not spoke about him in a while. Now, Marca in Spain have been reporting that Manchester City, they are going to have another look at Lionel Messi again in January, ahead of trying to offer a pre-contract agreement. Now, firstly, let's speak about Eric Garcia. Barcelona are still looking at Eric Garcia, and they can offer him a pre-contract agreement in January, although at this moment in time it is believed that Barcelona may well be willing to pay a small fee for Eric Garcia to bring him in January. Now, Manchester City have said that they are happy, officially they've said that they're happy to keep Eric Garcia until next summer, because it's a long season, they're scared of injuries, and so having more players available to them, good players like Eric Garcia, they're not going to turn that down. However, Barcelona, if they make Man City a good offer, City were looking for around 20 million euros in the summer. If they were to make a good offer in the winter window, City may well be willing to part ways with Eric Garcia. Now, if Eric Garcia is getting no minutes between now and January, I'd say that he's not needed by Manchester City, and so City would be willing to listen to an offer. I reckon, obviously it's not going to be 20 million euros. What would we be looking at? 5 to 10 million euros potentially that Barcelona may be willing to offer to Manchester City for Eric Garcia. I'm not too sure, but I find it interesting. Pre-contract agreements being spoken about, and then vice versa from the opposite end, from Barcelona's end to Manchester City, is word that Lionel Messi may well be willing to enter into negotiations for a pre-contract agreement for him to potentially become a Manchester City player next summer. Now, whilst Eric Garcia's transfer could still get sorted in January and he could be a Barcelona player in January, Lionel Messi will not be a Manchester City player in January. City would still need to meet the release clause, which is over 700 million euros, to sign Messi from Barcelona, which City are not going to do. They're going to wait instead. Now, Lionel Messi, apparently, he's waiting to see what happens with the Barcelona presidential election before making a decision on his future. His contract is up next summer, and if the elections don't go the way that he likes, and Bartomeu's still got power and he's still dictating stuff that's happening at Barcelona, I am certain right now that Lionel Messi will leave Barcelona if the status quo stays as it is. Lionel Messi, if he does join Manchester City, would have implications on what happens with, obviously, the future of Sergio Aguero, being a very good friend of Lionel Messi. He'll want to sign a new contract and work with Lionel Messi for at least a season or two, you would think, at Manchester City, so you'd see Aguero's future sorted as well. And I would have thought that Lionel Messi would want to be working under Pep Guardiola. After all, he's looking for one final dance to try and win the Champions League and win lots of trophies. So he'd want at least a couple of seasons in England, and I would have thought that he'd have wanted at least a couple of seasons from Pep Guardiola as well. We're still waiting to hear word on what's happening with Pep and his future, and so we're playing a waiting game at this moment in time. Things are optimistic but uncertain. It's a bit crazy, it's a bit weird out there, but I'm sure there'll be serious developments with regards to not only Lionel Messi, but Aguero and Pep and other players and staff members working for Manchester City that will get word of what's happening throughout the coming days, weeks and months, so I will keep you up to date with that every step of the way. So make sure, like always, if you are enjoying the content and you want to stay in that loop with the latest Manchester City transfer news and latest news, then make sure you subscribe. Press that red button, press the bell and put your push notifications on, aiming for 14,000 subscribers, so any help towards that would be much appreciated. Leave a thumbs up if you have enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts of these transfers in the comments below too. Don't forget also, social media links, they're in the description below and sliding across at the bottom of the screen if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter and Instagram. Email also in the description below too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. We'll be back again when that domestic transfer window has closed, with a summary of what's happened throughout the last couple of days of the transfer window being open, and then we'll be back again with normal regular content for the football season, including live watch along of the Manchester City game against Arsenal this weekend. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you all again very soon. So I've been JSGC. I hope everyone is safe and well. Thank you for watching. Peace. Ciao.